Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys at Magic. This is Hunter, David, Steven, and Shane. Say what's up, boys.
What's up, boys?
What's up, boys?
I just had a question. What's up, boys?
Um, we are back with our monocolored legendary creature review as commanders for Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. In the last episode, we saw the white, blue, and black monocolored legendaries. Now we are doing the red and green ones. So let's start off with the red, and the first card we are talking about is Atsushi the Blazing Sky. Atsushi the Blazing Sky is 2 and 2 red for a 4/4 legendary creature dragon spirit. It's got flying and trample, and it states when Atsushi the Blazing Sky dies, choose one. You can either exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards, or create 3 treasure tokens. David, you love these dragon spirits. Why?
I love the name of this one, but I ain't ordering this dragon roll.
Makes me hungry.
Huh.
No, this is by far the weakest of the cycle for EDH. I think that this card is fantastic still in standard, but as a commander, it's not really doing enough for me. Exiling the top 2 cards in my library is dope, and being able to cast those is also fantastic, but I still have to pay the mana cost for those cards. The creating 3 treasures is probably the more interesting aspect of this, but I still don't necessarily see this as something that I'm probably going to really utilize. If I'm breaking this commander, it means I have a ton of mana, of which that second ability just means I will still have a ton of mana. So I'm not actually super high on this one.
Wow.
I don't like it either.
I don't like it either.
Not a fan.
Steven, what do you like it? Or wait, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, do I think this has a really cool ability? Yeah. I don't think that this will be a commander.
David hates having to maybe whiff. So that's why this is the worst. Right, Dave?
Actually, I'm completely idiotic, and I just realized that if I'm making infinite mana and I'm using that first ability there, the second ability helps me create the treasure tokens to then cast every card in my deck.
It's still bad, David.
Treasures, right, Dave?
Well, yeah, the treasures give me the extra colors and the extra actual colored mana that I'm going to need if I do make infinite mana with this thing, which realistically speaking, if I'm making infinite mana in a red deck, I'm probably just making infinite red to begin with. I don't know.
We're still going to say that it's bad, Dave.
It's not my favorite out of the cycle, but I definitely think it's better than what I originally intended for this card to be, or thought it was.
Well, what's your grade then?
I'm going to bump it to a C.
Generous?
I'm giving it a D.
I will join the D club.
I want to give it some D too, so it's getting a D.
So it's getting the D. Sorry, Dave. As much as you tried to oversell it at the very end, this average is still a D for this one.
Hey, still graded lower than the rest.
Next up, we have Goro-Goro, Disciple of Ryusei. Goro-Goro, Disciple of Ryusei is 1 and a red for a 2/2 legendary creature Goblin Samurai. Has an ability where you can pay 1 red and have creatures you control gain haste until end of turn, and another ability where you can pay 3 and 2 red to create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. Activate only if you control an attacking modified creature. That last part, very specific.
But doable.
David,
Okay.
why is this card bad?
Okay, so let's talk about why the card is good first.
Yeah, it's a good card.
It's cheap. It's an haste enabler for relatively low cost. A single red mana is really solid here to be able to give all of your creatures haste. I just don't really think it does much aside from that. If I'm playing mono red aggro, which I feel like this is probably what it's going to want to lead, I'm not modifying creatures, which means I'm never using the second ability.
Equipment, auras, and counters. So there's a lot of ways to make a I guess you are the token red player, so I shouldn't argue with you.
I have a goblins deck that I legit don't know if this would fit into because none of those goblins ever get modified.
Yeah, I feel like this would definitely not be a traditional red goblin deck.
Yeah, you kind of run just modified, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like I really want to take advantage of that first ability of giving my creatures haste, and that's whatever go wide strategies really come to fruition there. Because if I make 30 tokens, they could just die next turn, or if they had haste, I could just swing in with all of them and get some damage through.
I'm not getting sold on this.
But with you saying making infinite red mana, you can actually have just one thing, just have one equipment attached to this card, and then make unlimited 5/5 red dragon spirits with flying, give them all haste,
Nope.
swing in to win.
No, this is an attack trigger. You literally can make a 5/5.
Well, damn it. Steven, what do you think?
I think this card's kind of cool. Obviously, 2 mana, 2/2, 1 red mana. All your creatures gain haste until end of turn, which includes this card. It can create more flyers for you, which I think is really cool. I don't think it'd be that hard to get a modified creature on the board either, with all the stuff going on in this new series. But I mean, I'd probably give this a decent grade. I don't think it's terrible.
All right. What would you give it as a grade then?
I would like to give this card a C.
That's cute.
I'm on board with you, Steven. I'm giving this a C as well.
I'm going to give this one a D. I just don't know where the home is for this. I feel like Go Wide Tokens doesn't really want this, and I don't know if Modified actually wants it either, so I don't know.
I like the card a lot, and I know we're talking about EDH, so I'll refrain from talking about why it's an amazing card, period. But it's not. It's a C. I can't.
So that average is a C. Next up, we have Go-Shintai of Ancient Wars. Go-Shintai of Ancient Wars, 2 and a red for a 2/2. Legendary enchantment creature, Shrine. It's got first strike. Says at the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, Go-Shintai of Ancient Wars deals X damage to target player or planeswalker, where X is the number of shrines you control. We keep talking about the shrines from the last video. You know our grade from the last video. We gave all the shrines an F. I think we are sticking to it.
Sticking to it.
Sticking to it.
I'm going to be a little different.
Shut up. God damn it. Here we go.
This average is an F. Let us move on.
This is Steve. Steven wanted to talk about something, dude.
No, it's definitely an F.
It's an F.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank God.
Next up, this is Heiko Yamazaki, the General. Heiko Yamazaki, the General, is 3 and a red for a 3/3 legendary creature, human samurai, that has trample. It states, whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target artifact card from your graveyard this turn. Very similar to the white one, where the white one did the enchantment thing.
I was going to say, deja vu, am I having a stroke? I feel like I heard this card.
This one's artifact, Shane. What do you think?
I'm going to say that my opinion doesn't change. And my opinion in the first video was that it won't work well.
I see. Tell us how you really feel.
That's all I got. I just
I don't like
think
this.
David's opinion was something about attacking alone to maybe not do anything. I think that's what he said.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, my vocabulary changed on this one to slow, weak, and fragile. So I chose to omit narrow. But it's still not good. It's this is an F from me.
Shucks.
I'll tell you what. This
Sell me, baby.
is only a D because of one card, and it's one of David's favorite cards. You ready for it, David?
I'm listening.
Yeah.
This card right here.
Well, they can't see that.
Why is Nefenrel's disc good here?
Because you can bring this back from the graveyard.
Oh my goodness, I'm so grateful we have learned this trick instead of playing one of the dozens of mono red artifact commanders that can literally do that exact same thing and more.
Hey man,
You did it.
that's why I'm not giving it an F. I'm giving it a D.
Still gave me. I'm giving it an F. Still, your combo doesn't fucking like. I'm not entertaining that.
I mean, I'm gonna give this an F as well, just because of me. At the same, like I said in the last video, got to attack with one card, and then you can cast the target card or target artifact card from the graveyard, but you still have to pay for it. Like I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I give it an F.
All right, so the average is an F. Good for you guys. Next up, once again, we have another Myojin. Guess what we're going to be giving this card?
Next.
On
Would
the
you like to
Myojin,
read it?
I
on the
have
end
to
of
read
it.
it for the video's sake. This is
Ah.
Myojin of Roaring Blades. Myojin of Roaring Blades is 5 and 3 red for a 7/4 legendary creature spirit. It states it enters the battlefield with an indestructible counter on it if you cast it from your hand. You can remove the indestructible counter from it. It deals 7 damage each of up to 3 targets. So F because of hand cast.
Real good, dude. I love it.
Average F. Let's move on. That was all the red cards. We are going on to the greens. The green, first one, Go-Shintai of Boundless Vigor. Go-Shintai of Boundless Vigor is 1 and a green for a 1/1 legendary enchantment creature shrine. It's got trample. It states at the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, put a +1/+1 on target shrine for each shrine you control. So technically, this one actually does a little more by giving itself counters.
It's a 1/1 with trample.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. These are all F.
F,
Come on,
right?
Steven. Come on. No, come on, Steven. I don't want to scare you off.
No, this is an F.
Oh,
Dude,
We're all in
I-
agreement. F, F,
I
F, F,
know.
F, F.
I
I
feel the
disagree.
salt now, dude.
Your opponent is not going to want to block with any of their X-Zeros. That trample damage will carry over.
X zeros. This is an F. Let's move on. Next up, we have Kodama of the West Tree. Kodama of the West Tree is 2 and a green for a 3/3 legendary creature spirit. It has reach. It states modified creatures you control have trample. Whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. I love this card.
Yeah, I want to say that I love this card as well.
I
I don't know how I
don't.
feel about it. I know you don't, dude, but
David, let's put a scenario in your head, okay?
ooh,
This
painting
is
pictures.
going to be a counters matter deck, correct? Because that technically counts as modified.
Sure.
So every single creature you have that's modified has trample. Every
Mhm.
single creature that hits your opponent, you just go grab a basic land and throw it in the field.
That sounds really cool.
It does,
David's
doesn't it?
not he doesn't approve, dude.
It's cheap. It's got built-in ramp. Counters matter. Everything has trample. What more do you want?
Storyteller.
Okay.
What happens whenever my opponent just instant speed removes this?
I mean, then you're sad.
Then you
Oh.
play it again for 5.
You know, I could. Also, this is one of those decks where I feel like it's like I want to care about lands and I want to care about counters and I want to also care about attacking. And at a certain point, I feel like you start to care about so much that your
Sorry.
deck doesn't really do a good job
I'm pretty sure you just
anything?
named it EDH game, David. You care
No, I
about
didn't.
attacking, and you
No,
care
you
about
see,
lands.
that's the thing. How many of my games do I win with any combat damage? Actually,
That's because you're the combo boy.
maybe that's why it is that I have an aversion to this because it's just like I read whenever it attacks or whenever it deals damage. I'm just like, It's
I don't
just
like
it's
doing
not
that.
doing it for me.
You're a silly little bugger.
That means I have to go to combat after I've cast my commander, have other creatures in play to actually connect because I probably don't want to swing my commander in. And this is only as good as the number of creatures that I happen to have. Like, I know that these are all very like petty things for me to complain about, but I just don't like this card.
That's fine. This is a great card, and you can't change my mind about this one. Steven, what do you think?
I think this set brings a lot of ways to modify creatures, so I think this is a really cool commander. I think it can do a lot of cool things, especially with the text that's written on it. 3 mana for a 3/3. I understand David brought up like removal, but I don't think it'd be that big of a deal if this is removed, just because I feel like for a few extra turns, especially with the ramp, you'll be able to bring this back out pretty easy. And if they're wasting their removal on this and not your modified creatures, I think it's a win-win. But I really like the built-in ramp. I really want this to be green-white. I think if this was green-white, I would give this an A, but it's not. So there's that.
What about you, Shane?
I think if you just slap this and Kodama's reaching the deck, dude, you got a whole deck, dude. You got his body. We're dead. That's all I care about. That was a joke. I really don't care.
I think this is a great card.
I
Shane,
know,
what do you grade?
I agree.
What are you grading it then?
I'm not a. I'll go with you, man. I'm gonna say it's a good card, and I'm gonna give it a B. I like it.
Going with me before I said my grade. I have a B as well.
Well, I meant like you would like the card.
I know. I'm giving it a B.
I'm gonna stick with my decision on this one, and continue. Continue to be a Debbie Downer. Not for me. I think this is a D.
Even David can be wrong. B minus.
Ooh.
Our average is a B. All right. Next up, we've got Kura, the Boundless Sky. Kura, the Boundless Sky is 3 and 2 green for a 4/4 legendary creature, Dragon Spirit. It's got flying and death touch. It says when Kura, the Boundless Sky dies, choose 1. You can either search your library for up to 3 land cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle, or create an XX green spirit creature token, where X is the number of lands you control. David, I do recall you saying that you hated the red one the most. So
I think
why
talked
is
myself.
this one better?
I think I talked myself up on the red one and gradually didn't hate it as much as what I think I hate this one right now. This is not good. Death Touch is probably the least relevant ability out of any of these because it's a 5/5. Chances are, if it's hitting something, it's probably killing the thing that it's hitting anyways. I do like its first ability, and it doesn't say basic land. You just get to go find 3 lands. So you get to go find some utility lands if you need them. You get to go find some fun lands. So you can go grab a strip mine or a wasteland or a Gaia's Cradle, Glacial Chasm, all those things that just go absolutely nutty. This is probably the only dragon, though, that I feel like really doesn't have a second mode, and that I don't like big dumb beaters, and that's the second mode on this, so I'm never using that. This is I don't think this is as good as the red one, actually.
Yeah, I think as a commander, this card is not good at all. However, if you put this in a lands matter deck, let's say Lord Windgrace by chance, this is a fantastic card. But we are grading them on commanders, so I still stand by what I'm saying. It's going to cost too much for the amount of times you want it to die, but the death triggers itself aren't that powerful.
This card's awful.
Just say how you really feel, dude.
Sugarcoat it.
I mean, out of the total 5 monocolored dragons that came out for this set, this is hands down the worst one. The other ones, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is great. This is this. When I saw this, I was just like, I think this is the one I wrote the least about.
I definitely
have to agree
agree.
with you.
As a commander, it is the worst out of all of them, and I've not liked any of them.
Wow.
That was just my opinion.
Well, everyone has an opinion.
Just
And
like an
even Hunter
asshole.
can be wrong.
My grade on this one, D.
Wow,
D as
gracious.
well, dude.
I'm also going to give this one a D just because I feel like it's not really all that impactful.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's 3 Ds. I'll give this 3 Fs.
Whoa.
You can't give it 3 Fs, Steven. That's cheating. This
First of all,
average.
my mom told me I could do anything.
She lied.
She
Damn it.
lied. This average stays a D. Next up, we have Myojin of Towering Might. Myojin of Towering Might is 5 and 3 green for an 8/8 legendary creature spirit. It says it enters the battlefield with an indestructible counter on it if you cast it from your hand. Remove an indestructible counter from it to distribute 8 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control. They gain trample until end of turn. We do not need to go into this card because we've given all the Myojin Fs. Right,
I mean,
boys?
I thought like the banter that David and I could have had would have been fun. But that's
All right, give
fine.
me some banter.
Well,
Help me.
well, David would have to read what he wrote.
I put down in my notes that they've reprinted Craterhoof Behemoth, but got rid of everything that made Craterhoof Behemoth a good card.
And then I wrote down, laugh at David's joke, and then cry at the fact that it's still a bad commander.
That
So we're all
was
giving it
hilarious,
Fs.
guys.
Guys, that was some.
Holy fuck, I
That
love
was
that.
good banter. Oh man.
Yeah.
I
just saying,
Witty
we-
and cute and
we
fucking
write notes for a reason, you know.
am cute. Thank you for noticing.
This is an F, right? F. Moving on.
Yeah.
Average F. F. FD, 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 F. And our final card for this video, the final green card as well. This is Shigeki Jukai Visionary. Shigeki Jukai Visionary is 1 and a green for a 1/3 legendary enchantment creature snake druid. Has an ability where you can pay 1 and a green and tap it. Return Shigeki Jukai Visionary to its owner's hand. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Put the rest into your graveyard. It also has an ability of Channel, which you can pay XX and 2 green to discard Shigeki. Return X, target non-legendary cards from your graveyard to your hand.
Wait, I don't see anything after put the rest in the bottom of your graveyard. I think it's just like a camouflage, like nothing there, right? The text doesn't matter.
Sorry, what?
It doesn't matter.
I think he's trying to make a joke, but it's not that funny.
Oh, is it better than your banter, you fuck?
Shane, what do you think about this card?
I don't have an opinion anymore about this card. Fuck it.
Hey, all I'm saying is that this protects itself from commander attacks. If someone tries to kill this, activate its ability. Granted, you have the mana, just throw it back in your hand.
And it's not sick. This is awful. Why are you grading this so high?
Because Hunter is a great Magic player.
I am. Thank you, Shane.
You're welcome.
Don't you always lose?
And with that, I'm just kidding.
You know what? Steven, tell me why this is good.
I wrote down one good positive note about this card, and that was the fact that it's got good commander tax protection. But if that's the only thing that you can say nicely about this card, it's not good.
Hey, like the last card, not the last card, but the last card we actually graded, the Dragon Spirit. David, you mentioned that you can throw any land, not just basic.
Okay. One of them looks at the top 4. The other one tutors and finds 3. You are not making a comparison here. Plus, the dragon is big and has flying. This card is garbage.
Hey, man, and if you discard something you liked, you could get it back by just channeling this card out of your hand.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. But that doesn't dodge the commander tax, the 1+ that we've already talked about. And talking about dodging the commander tax, it assumes that you've paid 2 mana to play this thing. It's not sick, and you have 2 mana left up just in case, by whatever reason, your opponent uses a removal spell on this.
I'm sold. This card's amazing.
Thank you, Shane. Finally, someone with common sense.
Yeah,
I'm giving this a D, though. So.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
good change there, bud.
You lowered that grade. That was not what you were originally giving this card.
Hey,
He
man,
got
I don't know what you're
into
talking
it.
about. This is a D. What are you giving it, David?
No, this is
Yeah.
an F. This card is absolute garbage. You know what? I think I'm gonna play the Shrines over this card.
Oh, you know
Yikes.
what? Just for that, I had this at a D, but now I'm going F. I'm gonna go
Oh.
with David just because he agreed with the shrines.
At least the green shrine does something.
Shane, what are you giving this?
I've already from the beginning said that I have no opinion on this card anymore because I completely failed at my joke. So fuck this card.
So is that an F?
Yeah, F for fuck.
Okay. All right. Well, that average is an F, unfortunately. Sorry, Shigeki. And that is it. That is our final wrap up for our monocolored legendary review, where we grade them as commanders. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow us on our Instagram and our Twitter as well. That is at Guys That Magic for both. We will see you guys when we break down the multicolored legendary creatures from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty and see if we can get on the same page grading those.
We won't.
Certainly not.
Probably not. Until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Good night
Bye bye.
or good morning.
All right, Truman.
I don't know what time they're gonna watch this.
It's they even watch it, dude.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
I just said good night.